So Shonda Rhimes says that you should have a year of yes, and self-care advocates say that saying no is saying yes to yourself. So which is it? I should be writing season 18, episode 25.
Well, I should be writing. I should be working on my craft. I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.
And hi there. Welcome to I Should Be Writing. We're the podcast for wannabe fiction writers. And we've been going on since 2005, the longest writing podcast still running today. I'm your host, Mer Lafferty. When I started this all those years ago, I had sold nothing, and now I have several books out, and I'm working on another one. And I got a little bit of good news today that I think I can share. It wasn't told to be secret or anything. So yeah, this podcast has pretty much chronicled my travels from selling absolutely nothing to where I am right now, which is pretty good. And if you go back and listen, or you listen to recent ones, you'll know that what I try to do here is we'll talk craft sometimes, but I also want to let you know that any emotion you're feeling that you think is neurotic or weird, and everybody else has their Legos all stacked up right and yours are still all over the floor, that's normal. I still feel that way. So I've written for video games, RPGs, Star Wars, Minecraft, and I've been nominated for a bunch of awards. So even with all that, still a ball of worry, still a ball of self-doubt. And I don't have my own cruise. Can you believe it? I do not have my own cruise. Jonathan Colton, who got started in podcasting, he's got a cruise. Writing Excuses, who started their podcast after I did, they've got a cruise. I don't have a cruise. So, that's right, Preemie, having my own cruise on my writer bingo card. Exactly. So, funny story, I have no news of writing word count updates. Yesterday, we had a pet emergency. The dog's doing better. She still needs to heal, but she's gotten out of the surgery haze, which, you know, even though you know what it is, it's upsetting seeing your normal bouncy animal just looking at you like, who are you again? And I was trying to convince her to like, go in your crate, which is your safe spot. Go on this pillow, which is your favorite spot to lie when you're not in your crate. It's comfy and your family loves you. And she's just like staring at me. And then she left the room and walked down the hall. And I went to go look for her, and she was kind of half squatting, half standing. And then she just lay down and put her head down. And it's like, I live here now. But she's much better now. It was sad. But yeah, her foot will need some healing to do, but she's a tough broad. So I have no doubt. And she's been through this before, so. Anyway. So, yesterday was dealing with the dog all afternoon. And then last night was, whenever she moves around, the cone hits things. And if she shakes, it's like you've got the dog tags and the cone noises. And at 5 o'clock, she decided she needed to go out and have breakfast. So, even though I haven't had a lot of stress today, I've been dealing with yesterday's stress and getting up at 5. So, fun times. So I have no word count. I did talk one of my character problems over with Numbers Ninja in the car yesterday, and that helped out a lot. Sometimes you just need to talk it over with somebody. If they're really good to talk to, that's even better. And Numbers Ninja is. But, I mean, I think the programmers call it a rubber duck. Because sometimes you need to, like, talk about the problem out loud for you to figure it out. And so you think you need someone to help you, but you really don't. Because if you just said your problem to the rubber duck on your desk, then you could get it. I joke that my husband's my rubber duck all the time because this is a PC that he built. I bought all the components, he put them together. And so whenever something goes weird or wrong, I ask him what's up. And usually he'll come up here and then it'll be better. So, okay. Anyway, so I did work through a major character problem, which helped out a lot. Today, I did a lot of notes until I got an email, which I will then segue into good news, which is where I want to hear your good news. I'll tell you my good news. We'll hit the yay button. It'll be lots of fun. I was asked to write a letter called Dear Reader that will go in the front of the advanced reader's copies of my book to sort of just talk about why I wrote the book, what inspired me, stuff like that. And I've never been asked to do that before. And I think it's a good sign that sales likes the book enough to want me to do this, according to some of my friends, and my editor's happy. So that was kind of cool. But that kind of took my whatever mind I had for writing I put into that letter. And I've got copy edits due tomorrow, so I probably won't get any new words until the weekend at the earliest, which isn't great. But anyway. Let's see. I'm going to go into some news because this applies to most people watching or listening. But SIFWA just overwhelmingly voted to change its membership requirements. There's like 5 ways you can... I know a lot of people who are in chat right now have looked into it deeper than I have. I don't want to say anything wrong, but there are many ways that you can apply to be in the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America and not have to have 2 pro sales or 1 book. And it's like taking into account the experience you get self-publishing. It's taking into account experience you get game writing. So it's much broader. And a lot of people have been talking about how, they don't qualify for pro, but they may qualify for associates, or, and it's people are feeling really good about it. So, yeah, I'm really glad they did that. Every president has been working hard to kind of pull SIFWA out of the Stone Age. I mean, just apparently allowing voting online for the nebulas and for all of the bylaws and president voting and all that. They had to legally change stuff within the bureaucracy red tape of SIFWA to allow for online voting. And they reincorporated in another state, which apparently was a huge, huge bureaucratic nightmare. So I kind of see SIF was one of those yachts. It's like, it's big and you want to get on it, but if you want it to change direction, it's going to be work and time. So, yeah. What else? Let's see, I wrote down SIFWA, my letter, dog is okay, and kid fixed my character. So, that's my good news. Okay, Kimmy has good news. I'm getting new pet sitting clients. That's awesome. And, so who said they had a rejection? Meerkat got a rejection. That's great. Congratulations on your rejection, Meerkat. Oh, right. I think I fixed it. I think I fixed our rejection counter. Did anything happen? Okay, there we go. That was Meerkats, and now we got, I don't think I did Star-Eyed Green. So we got rejection and rewrite on Tuesday for Star-Eyed Green. Congratulations. That's a yay button. And okay, now the yay button won't work. Why? Okay. There we go. Yay button working again. Whew. Off topic, I was looking at a page of Nightbot commands to make my chat better. Also, guys, apparently y'all know more about collecting quotes in a stream than I do. I have put the ability to add quotes into the stream. We have one in there. It's the one about the smoking jacket. So, if you know the quotes thing and you want to put it in the chat, please go right ahead. But I was looking at other Nightbot commands, and it's like, I miss the days of user manuals. I really do. Because just, there's so much information online, but a lot of it sounds like it's written by a guy who thinks you're his buddy and you kind of know what he's talking about already, so he doesn't need to be too specific. Because there's like... Okay, so we got, here are 11 commands you really should be on every stream. So you got personal best and stream setup and giveaway, and then you've got, and they say, you know, bang giveaway, do this, and bang, what was it? SO for shout out, bang PB for personal best, and then you've got bot fights back. You can also set up commands to trigger it when a user mentions specific keywords. A funny one to add is making the bot reply to people. It freaks out people in the chat and gets a good laugh all around. There's nothing that says how to do this. Nothing. I don't know. Maybe you need to... You at the evil Murbot? I don't know. I really don't. So that was annoying. I'm still working on it. Still working on various things to make the because there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do with all of these bots and stuff, but it's kind of hard to figure out sometimes. Bah. Okay, sorry. Anyway, okay, that was Starred Green. Underpope, one rejection since Tuesday. Does that take us to 100? It does. Awesome. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations to us all. Very proud of everybody. That's great. There. You have to buy the upgrade that injects the knowledge directly into your brain. You're right. You're absolutely right. Back to SIFWA. Shale says they have general requirements up on the site. They are preparing for an influx and will give full details on how to prove qualifications when the application software is ready. I'm glad they're taking it carefully because, you know, they are going to get a lot of people at once. Which is great. Because, you know, more people means a healthier community and more dues. And the dues go to good things, like helping people with legal challenges. And I think there's a health insurance you can get. I'm sure it's not incredibly awesome, but it is kind of cool that they try to get the health insurance you can buy out of there. So, and then there's like, and there's also like an emergency medical fund that they build. And if you get in trouble with medical bills, you can apply, you know, ask SIFWA to help you out with it. So they've got a couple of things. Yes, health insurance is what lured me to SIFWA, says Vale Who Fights Cats. Yes. I haven't looked at that too deeply. I probably should, as, you know, a podcaster, not just as a writer, because I'm on my husband's insurance, but yeah. So if anybody else has good news, let me know now. If you are listening to this later and you have good news, then please email me, put good news in the subject line, and we will talk about it on the next podcast. I'm going to make sure I didn't forget anybody's good news in my email, because that'd be funny, wouldn't it? Ha! I just heard my dear reader thing is too long. Oh well. Doesn't look like I have any good news in the email. So, onward. Does having donuts at work count as good news? Yes, it does. It totally does. I found out that there's like, it looks like a national chain, but I've never heard of it. And there's like a gourmet cookie place. And there's 2 of them near me. And they sell cookies and they sell ice cream. And they'll deliver it. And yeah. So I'm just kind of, yeah, I haven't actually made an order yet, but I might, because it's going to be, that's going to be a special day. Okay. I do enjoy the occasional self-help book. I feel like my brain's always in such a state of disarray that I like to maybe try to find the book that will make things better, even though a lot of times I'll listen, or usually do it audiobook. I'll listen to the book and then think, this is all great. And then when I'm not listening to it, everything I've learned leaves my head, which probably makes me get new productivity books. But that is a me problem. But I did get the Shonda Rhimes book, My Year of Yes, I think it was, where she just decided to say yes to everything that came across, and how she found all these opportunities and how wonderful they were, and yeah, and how it helped her career. I mean, she's huge. I don't know how many other people who don't like pay attention to the people who make Hollywood happen, but Shonda Rhimes does like Grey's Anatomy and How to Get Away with Murder and God, what else? She does a lot of shows, and they're all like amazing and Emmy winning and stuff. So yeah, I was interested in her book. And because I'm trying to talk about luck in my next novel, I am rereading How Luck Happens. And if I had been planning, I would have found the author, but I'm listening to it, so... No, I don't want to listen now. I just want to look at the cover. Janice Kaplan. Janice Kaplan and Barnaby Marsh did a scientific look at luck. And what I'm learning from it is essentially luck is, let's see, where talent and opportunity and hard work. Talent, opportunity, and hard work, when they intersect, that's what we call luck. She points out that we talk about the discovery of penicillin as like this random thing that was lucky. But, you know, the guy who discovered it had already been searching for something to kill bacteria. And he had done years of study on it. And so, you know, if it had happened to someone like me, I wouldn't have been able to identify what was going on. So he had to have like all this knowledge already and be working on the problem to get this lucky break. And a lot of the, you know, it's like Josh Groban got offered a recording contract when he was still in school, and he had to decide whether he was going to leave school and take the recording contract or stay in school and do, you know, try to make it as a singer later. And he left school. And it is fascinating how it talks about a lot of times we believe we're lucky. When we believe we're lucky or unlucky, we subtly make decisions that will kind of lead that way. I can't remember specifically what it was. It was the chapter on how winning streaks make you bet differently than losing streaks in gambling. And, you know, if you have your lucky talisman, just, you know, it's got that placebo, having it with you is makes you happier, lighter, more willing to look at things and accept opportunities and all of that. So as I put on the quote to talk about this episode is Dwight Schrute quoting "A real man makes his own luck," Billy Zane, Titanic. I love it when he quotes horrible people. That was one of the nice subtle things about The Office. Whenever Dwight said a quote, it was almost always the villain of a TV show or movie. Isn't there an old saying that goes, "Fortune favors the well-prepared"? Yes. That's it exactly. So yeah, I'm sitting here going, I have had some luck in my life. I've tried to work hard. But I've tried to also be aware of luck. You know, I've talked about this with The Artist's Way, because Julia Cameron really believes in the universe or God or any sort of spiritual power that you are a fan of, that when you open your creative mind up to that spiritual power, you will get more, you will create better, you will be more open to things, you will be happier, you will be fulfilled and all that stuff. And since I don't really believe in any of that, my metaphor is, if I'm not, open or writing, or if I'm not doing what the artist way is supposed to help me to do, then it's like I'm walking around with my head down. I'm just looking at the sidewalk. Whereas once I start doing the artist way and the journaling and the question and answer stuff, then basically I'm just lifting my head and I'm looking around and seeing my surroundings for the first time. And that has nothing to do with a higher power of any kind. It's just me being more open and being more observant to the life around me to try to get something going. But here's the deal. I think I announced this on Tuesday? Yeah, I did, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll say it again. I recently said no to a project. And it was a cool project. And I'm having regrets / second thoughts, but I still think it was best for me, because it would essentially be me rolling from the book I'm writing now directly into the new project. It had a fast turnaround time, which was good and bad. Good that it would be a short amount of time of really hard work. Bad because, well, that's stressful. The money was good. And there are a variety of reasons why I did turn it down, some of them personal. But because I'm doing this luck research, I'm driving around listening to this woman talk on and on about accepting opportunities. And I'm like, wait a minute. Half the advice is like, you can't say yes to everything. If you say yes to one thing someone asked you to do, you're saying no to yourself, something you could do for yourself with that time or energy or money. And, I'm a people pleaser, so saying no is already hard for me. And, overbooking is a trap I find myself falling into because I want to say yes to everything. And so I know that saying no needs to happen. But with all of this advice floating around about how saying no is self-care and saying yes gives you luck and opportunity, I don't know how to choose which one. I'm going with my gut, of course. I'm just saying I'm going to trust I made the right decision. I've already got my luck stuff in place. I have my agent. I have the books I'm working on now. I have the books that I'm promoting this year. I mean, stuff's happening. I'm not just it's not like I turned away my only opportunity. And I talked with my agent and we talked about something I could do in that time I would have written this project. So I'm looking forward to that. But I really hate it when you get these opposing advice and you have to figure it out on your own like an adult. I mean, who wants that? I'm kidding. You should be an adult if you are an adult. So, it did get me thinking about luck, and there are times we say no to something, and we probably shouldn't. We say no because we're afraid. That's a lot of it. Imposter syndrome's huge. It's like, you can't mean that. You can't be asking for me. You're clearly asking for someone else. And if I do accept it, then you're going to find out that I'm the wrong person and I'm going to be fired or something. Yeah, imposter syndrome and fear, thinking you're not ready. What are the other reasons we say no to things? Thinking we don't have time. The thing being, and I'm not trying to put down people who've had more difficult lives than I have. But, it's kind of a scientific fact that if your body changes in the way of delving out energy. Your body looks at the job and says, okay, here's how I will dispatch this energy. Dispatch is an awkward term. But it's like if you say, I have to walk 10 miles today, you're going to be really worried about it. And you're going to think, how the hell am I going to do 10 miles? But your body's like, okay, we got to do this. And your body will give you the energy to walk the 10 miles. There may be some disability stuff in here, and I fully understand that. But I understand that could mess up my metaphor. So I apologize about that. But they've done a lot of studies about telling somebody that they must do X. And even if they think they can't, their brain's doing the math of, if I put out the energy like this, then we'll be able to do it. Like, I wasn't looking forward to the last time we had to drive to Boston to get Numbers Ninja. Getting Numbers Ninja, of course, awesome. Driving 12 hours to do it was not. And I'm just like, I'm so tired. How am I going to do this? And then I remembered that, yeah, I'll do it because my brain knows I have to do it. So it will give me the energy in the really fine. I'm struggling for the proper noun here. I don't know. Sorry. It will dole the energy out correctly. They've done another study was they took like professional bikers and they told them, you're going to ride 10 kilometers today. And they tracked the person's speed and they tracked, and the person could see how far they'd gone. So they tracked the speed, they tracked the energy, blah, blah, blah. The next day, they told them they were going to ride 10 kilometers, but they didn't let them look at how far they'd gone. And because the brain didn't know how much energy to put out, it gave them actually less energy so that they just didn't know what to do. And so the brain kind of conserved energy. So their times were much worse. It's things like that. There's another, I should have found this book as well. That book kind of made me feel better about some things. I remember when Numbers Ninja was 4 months old and my husband was going on a trip, a business trip. And this would be the first time I'd be home with the baby. And I thought, there's no way I can do this. I can't handle, 24/7 baby. And he left, and I did. And a lot of people say, I do it because I have to, which is pretty much the same thing. I have a friend who had twins around the same time I had Numbers Ninja. And so we would get together every once in a while, and I would be like, how? I can't even imagine twins. She's like, well, I do it because I have to. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I guess you can't just tap out there. And I forgot what got me on this, dang it. Oh, right. When you think you don't have the time or the energy. And again, I know that there are illness or chronic pain or mental issues that can negate what I'm saying. I'm definitely not saying just suck it up, you'll find the energy somehow under the couch. But for the average person, probably if you took that job, you'd probably find a way to do it. You might be stressed. You might lose sleep, but you'll find a way to do it. It was a really big tangent about how our brain knows how to give us the energy we need. So, Preemie says, my thing for the past couple of years was saying yes to so many things I burnt out and found myself unable to say yes to anything for a while. Imposter syndrome is a huge one, yes. I have learned it's better to save my spoons and stress levels by saying no to things I know I'll enjoy it a little but hate more. Lee says, my problem at work is remembering that I can say no, I don't have the time for that, instead of reflexively saying yes to everything. Thankfully, my boss encourages me to be realistic about what I can actually get done, then back me up when the client side pushes to add more to a release. Yeah, it's, it's hard when it's flattering. Even if you don't have imposter syndrome and you think, I can do this, I have skills, and they've recognized it, and that's really cool. But will you be able to do it? Will you be able to do a good job? Will you be able to do it without burning out? And I'm not saying that the body will keep you from being burned out. No, the body will. There was a very tragic story in the sports science book I was reading where a woman and her 6-year-old had gone out and gotten caught in a riptide, and she was treading water to keep them both alive, and they were trying to get a boat to her, but the current was bad, so it took a long time. And basically, when they got to her, she handed them the kid, and then she was gone because her goal was to get the child into the boat. And once the child was in the boat, she had nothing left. And it was very sad, but pretty amazing what she did. So yeah, that's a downside. That's, it doesn't mean that everything's healthy. It just means you will be able to do stuff. But think about that when you think maybe you don't have time or maybe you don't have the energy. Maybe you do. I hate saying this because it really makes me sound full of myself, but I think it's true that when I was offered Minecraft before I was offered Solo. If you don't know, I did the novelization to the movie Solo, and I did one of the Minecraft middle grade books. So Minecraft was offered to me before Solo was. And I had done 2 books. I don't think 6 Wakes was out yet. Or it might have come out, but I didn't have anything planned in the future. It was around that time. And so I thought, well, this project just fell in my lap, and, they wanted me, which is flattering, and, the money was good, so I took it. And then Solo got offered to me, and luckily they were both published by Del Rey, and my Minecraft editor was under my Star Wars editor, so they managed to get my schedules moved around a little bit to benefit everybody. But then 6 Wakes got a lot of attention. Then I got this Ace deal. So when I took the Minecraft job, I did not have projects lined up in front of me. But I'm at a point in my career now where I do. And that's another question I have to ask or answer. I was trying to say the same thing. It's another question about maybe I'm not in a point in my career where I should just grab anything that comes my way, because I can choose, because I already have other work to do. And that feels awkward, but I think it's true. My ridiculous imposter syndrome is yelling at me for saying all of that, but I mean, it's just numbers at this point. I have 1 book coming out. I am kind of halfway through another one, and I still have a 3rd one to write. So that was another good reason to say no. And was it luck that brought that to me? Yeah, it was like the hard work and talent and opportunity. It all met together, but I had to say no. So it's harder than the books claim. I mean, yeah. I think you'll know if you get offered something that just sounds amazing. Take it. You can get up. You can learn things. I have faith in you. My husband likes to quote Ghostbusters. If someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes. The only time I've ever not done that is when I was trying to do freelance nonfiction writing, and I was offered a piece on Stargate. And I saw the movie Stargate and hated it. So when it came time to, if I was going to write an article on the TV show, I had like 10 seasons to get through. And I think that I was pretty correct in saying no to. But I mean, I wanted freelance jobs, but I knew better than to do that one. K. Kimmy says, saying no to jobs even when I'm overbooked is especially hard as a freelancer. I'm always a bit afraid that if I do, they won't ask me again. Yeah, been there. I stopped writing the Warcraft RPG. I don't even remember why, but this was like a long time ago. And then when I decided to look for more RPG work, I contacted my old editor. And he's like, well, we really want people who are playing World of Warcraft to write this. I'm like, I play World of Warcraft. I wrote on the first Warcraft RPG with you. I played 2 and 3 incessantly. Yes, I know this world and I know the MMO, and why are you saying this? And he's like, oh, sorry, I thought you hadn't. And then like, I still never heard from him. So it is a real fear that, you know, if you step away, will they think about you? I don't know. I don't know if I can talk about this. Anyway, I'll just say I had another opportunity several weeks ago, but it was requiring me to travel. And it was like, Omicron wasn't as bad as it was in January, but it still wasn't good. And I really, really, really wanted this. And I just went, I can't. For the health of my family and myself, I can't. And they understood. And I said, but this is not the first time someone's offered me a neat opportunity at the last minute. And I know I'm covering for someone, and that's okay. I'm happy to be second or third choice, as long as I'm a choice. That's exciting. But when that's happened to me before, I'm like, I can't do it with this little notice, but I'd love to be considered in the future. And I never hear from them. So it is a real fear, K. Kimmy. It is. Maybe I should have been more vocal and followed up with people. And, you know, of course, all the proper things to do are appearing in my head right now, years later. But yeah, I think probably keeping in touch with people is a good thing. Honorboat, that is a great question. I'm going to answer it in short now, but I think we should talk about it on a future episode. What sort of opportunities should a baby writer be looking for? Well, opportunities such as writing IP probably won't come your way. I'm just going to say it because usually they know, you know, they'll talk to agents and see who's interested in what properties. And if they already know your work, like, you know, my editor knew my work on 2 other projects, so she asked for me. It's like they want you. And so they're going to ask for people. I don't know of anybody whose first job was something in someone else's intellectual property. What opportunities you want to be aware of? Submitting to a lot of magazines. You can enter contests. Frankly, I don't know what the difference is between a contest and just submitting, because and if you're submitting, you send your story in and a bunch of people read it, and then, or what, like one person reads it and then either rejects you or sends you up to the next person to read it. And then the editor reads it and decides whether they're going to buy it. And in a contest, you send your story in and people read it, and so on. I don't really understand the difference. Before you guys call me a hypocrite, because I am co-editor of Escape Pod, and Escape Pod is opening for flash fiction contests shortly. That's actually a community-run event where, Divya and I, in the future, Valerie and I, don't have any say in it. We do not choose. It's like you post your flash fiction and your community votes on it. Also, we don't buy flash, usually. So, if you want your flash in Escape Pod, this is the window to do it. So really just submitting and selling stories and honestly going to cons and networking. It's powerful. I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't, but it is. That was another thing she talks about in The Luck, which is, some people say it's unfair how, some people have, she used business students in Alabama probably don't have the networking you need to get a job on Wall Street. Then in that case, there's actually a program dedicated to helping kids from not urban places actually get some networking going and stuff. But, it's the thing of, if you have the money, then you've got a leg up. If you live in a metropolitan area and you can just take public transit to the con and then go home, you've got a leg up. But there are scholarships available in a lot of cons now, so look into that. But if you just write an awesome short story, you'll get attention. I know I've not run the data, but I do know that when a friend of mine, John Chu, won the Hugo for Best Short Story a couple of years ago, John has always been a short story writer. I was in Viable Paradise with him back in 2005, and he was like, is anybody around? Is everybody else workshopping a novel? Am I the only one workshopping a short story? And we're all like, yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I've known that the short story is John's thing. But after he won the Hugo for Best Short Story, agents started calling him and saying, how do you feel about doing something longer? That's when opportunities might come and you have to decide whether you're going to take it or not. I don't think John's written a novel yet. I need to get back in touch with him. He was not at BossCon, unfortunately, which is usually where I run into him. So yeah. Short fiction definitely generates surprise opportunities when editors solicit you later. Thank you, Preemie. Half the time I'm like, thank you. Who are you? Why do you remember me? You sound like Ursula thinking that when she wears a hat, she's in disguise. Not everybody has face blindness, Ursula. People remember you. All right. We're going to close out the podcast right now. Thank you for listening or watching. I should be writing. If you want to support the show, I did a long screed about podcasts and how the question is always, how do you make money podcasting? And no one can ever come up with a good answer because they're still asking it. But I make a little bit, and you can support me through Patreon if you want to help out with that. That's patreon.com/MightyMur. I stream on Twitch I should be writing twice a week. Twitch.tv/MightyMur. Catch me at 3 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, Thursday. And, let's see. I've thought about trying to go to a network, but they're probably going to want some claim on my IP, and I don't want that. I would like to keep my intellectual property. And if that, that means I could get more money if I sold my IP, but I'm not real comfortable with that. If you support the Patreon, you'll get access to the secret exclusive Discord channel where we have writing sprints and accountability buddies and beta readers and higher levels entitle you to twice monthly mini workshop, signed copies of books, showing up in my next book as a dead person. So yeah, check me out at merverse.com. And if you want to email me good news, put good news in the subject and say just mightymer@gmail. Yes, that's it. Okay. Don't forget to check out my books. Available where books are sold online. You can pre-order Station Eternity right now from many different places. And I'll see you next week. You should be writing. I Should Be Writing is available to you under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Theme music by John Emilio. Art by Numbers Ninja. Production by Summer Brooks. And hosting by Libsyn. Find all of this information and more at merverse.com. And remember, we can't do this without you. Thanks for your support.
But I should be writing. I should be working on my craft. I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who. Yeah, I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.